Hello everyone, this is Backyard Musings, broadcasting live from the Double Wide. I'm Steve.
And I'm Scott.
Thank you for joining us today. First thing we want to talk about today is Ben L. You left a comment, and I want to say thank you for leaving the comment, because you weren't a troll and you weren't rude, but you voiced your opinion, which we appreciate, and we don't think your opinion is right, but you're entitled to it. He had said that, remember he said that commenting about Trump, about Biden possibly winning, the women vote, minorities, independents, liberals, and I'm thinking independents are not going to make the same mistake twice that they made in 2020. They're not going to do that again.
Legally. Let's hope not. Let's hope not. It's hopefully legally. It's a legal operation this time. So.
And tomorrow we're going to talk about some shenanigans that we uncovered, or that someone else uncovered. We're going to report on it.
Expose on it.
Yeah. But independents are not going to make the same mistake. I'll tell you, Catholic women are not going to vote for Biden because the Catholics are under attack. LDS women, I don't think Latter-day Saint women are going to vote for Biden. I just honestly don't. They're too conservative.
This is kind of a corny comment or question, but I remember, I forget what administration brought this up, but do you feel like you're better off than you were 4 years ago, or 5 years ago, or 6 years ago?
The climate is still good. It was good 4 years ago.
The climate?
Yeah,
climate's fine, but
it's
the economy is in the toilet.
No. Eggs, milk, gas.
Yeah, inflation on products. I mean, 2 years ago, I was buying on sale a 2-liter bottle of soda for 88 cents. And now it's $1.88. So you do the math on that one. It's the same soda.
There's people that tout, there's so many millions of jobs that were created. Yeah, but the money, the workers aren't getting the money. They aren't getting raises. And shrinkflation, that's when, the products are smaller, getting smaller to compensate for the higher prices.
Exactly.
That's taking a bite. So,
and that's a true statement right there. You look at something that you're buying today, if they're saying that it's the same price that it was 2 years ago or 3 years ago,
that's because they reduced the ounces or the numbers.
The product, right?
Yeah.
The amount of product you're getting. So
okay, so Ben, thank you so much. Thank you for sending your comment. We really appreciate that. Now on to our talk today.
Topic, yeah.
Yeah, topic. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Today we're going to discuss how Democrats could push Trump out if he is elected. And this is completely viable. It was first pitched by Russell Berman from The Atlantic, and I'm taking a lot of the material from that. So this is Russell Berman's. We're just reporting on it. So during oral arguments regarding the Colorado case of Trump being removed from the ballot for insurrection, which
he has not been charged with.
He has not. No, he hasn't been charged with that. Maybe we need a definition. Maybe Congress needs to pass a law that defines insurrection. That could be. I'd be open for that. So the justices seemed unanimous in not wanting to allow a state to remove a person from a ballot. However, they did not appear comfortable removing Trump from the ballot either. Colorado's attorney Jason Murray suggested to the court that if the SCOTUS does not resolve the question of Trump's eligibility, right? So they could just say you can't take a person off, but that doesn't solve the question of Trump's eligibility,
right?
Because all these states are going to say no, he's not eligible, right? It could come back with a vengeance, is what he said.
And I like that statement, right?
Yeah.
I mean that's you kind of have to think about it down the road. You can't think about it just present day. This is you're not always going to have the power.
There's second and third order effects,
Yeah, it could snowball, definitely.
So after the election, when Congress meets again to certify the vote, it could come back. So here's how it come back. So you see, new representatives are sworn in on January 3rd. So they get voted on in November. They're sworn in on January 3rd. There's a popular liberal thought that absent clear guidance from SCOTUS, a Trump win could lead to a constitutional crisis in Congress. Dems would have to choose between confirming a winner, many of whom believe is ineligible, the 80-some million, and defying the will of the voters who elected him, right? Because it's the Electoral College, not the popular vote, right? Their victory in a House special election last week in New York, remember
And
Santos...
that's about, and from the 3rd until
The 6th.
Inauguration Day
Yeah.
is usually what?
Well, the 6th is a certification.
Certification
then
day?
The 20th
Right.
is inauguration.
Right.
So the Dems lost a seat in New York. Santos, he was a fraud. He was bad news.
Needed
And
to
then
go.
Needed to go.
Yep.
And it flipped back to Democrat because he took it from a Democrat, right?
Yep.
So Dems have a serious chance of winning a majority in Congress in November. It's a serious chance, despite if Trump is reelected 47th president, right? If they win the majority, they could have the votes to prevent him from taking office, which is another workaround. And I'm going to explain it how, or Russell Berman's going to explain how. Senior Dems will not commit to certifying a Trump win, saying they would do so only if the Supreme Court affirms his eligibility, right? So let's say you got two possibilities here. They affirm his eligibility, he gets elected, no problem, everybody's okay. You know, if the Supreme
Well, not everybody.
Court, well,
not everybody,
yeah.
but
Okay.
but the majority. Of the
So
people are
then
gonna be
Supreme Court doesn't affirm his eligibility, just says states can't arbitrarily take a candidate off. Now Dems are thinking he's illegitimate. No, we're not going to vote for him, even though he got the vote, right? So watch this. Democrats have protested each presidential election since 2000 that was won by a Republican. Dems, they can do that because the GOP cannot. Dems
2000. That was the hanging chads,
The
right?
hanging chads, yeah.
Or Florida.
Yeah.
Gore and Bush.
Yeah, Democrats can do it. Republicans, it's a crime. It's a sin, right? Remember that during orals, the justices were inclined to dodge the question of eligibility. Despite 91 indictments, none were for insurrection. Dems tried to impeach Trump because of J6, gaining 10 Republicans in the House to vote with them. Remember that?
Yeah.
On that second impeachment. A significant majority of those lawmakers would still be in Congress in 2025. The 10 would, and the Dems would. Now we got a new Dem to replace a Republican in New York.
Right.
So what if the court
Because
declines...
our majority now is what, about, I think it's 2 people,
5
right?
or 6.
Yeah, it's very,
Yeah,
very,
very slim.
single digits.
So what if the court declines to answer eligibility? All Dems think that Trump is an insurrectionist. Every single... You can't find a Dem who doesn't believe that, right? Here are a few scenarios. 1, Congress could pass a law defining insurrection in the 14th Amendment and develop a process for determining whether a candidate is barred from holding office. There's almost zero chance of this happening right now between now and the election, right? Because it'd have to go through... It's just
Congress,
too locked
right?
up. It's just too locked up with the funding, budget, and all that stuff, right?
Right.
There could be mostly peaceful Democrat riots across the nation in the Capitol, right?
Like there were.
Mostly like they were,
Like there were before, those peaceful riots,
like
right?
Ferguson and
Washington,
Portland,
yeah,
Washington,
and Oregon.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Mostly peaceful riots. Okay,
Right.
We know what that looks like, right?
Yep.
Or
Bring
3.
your hot dogs. There's going to be a weenie roast. Lots of fires.
That's a good one,
It's
man.
terrible.
That's a good one. Congress passed a law after J6, now this is pretty cool, that makes the VP's role merely ceremonial, not decisive. Moreover, now 1/5 of each chamber, instead of 1/5 would be required to force a state's vote on state's electors, instead of 1 from each chamber. Before it was, you needed a House and a Senate to both protest, and then they go deliberate on it, right? Now you need 1/5. So that's 88 in the House and 20 in the Senate to object in writing. If there is a successful objection to a state certification, it will bring a vote on the floor. Everybody's going to vote. If this happens, then to proceed, right? Then both chambers of Congress, now remember, if Dems have a majority, then they'll win that vote, right? If this happens, then both chambers of Congress recess and hold a debate and vote. Maximum of 2 hours to hold a debate and vote about this ineligibility, right? To accept or reject the objection. Both chambers must agree to object before that contestant state's electors are thrown out, right? If enough electors are excluded, it may turn the tide of the president-elect, right? How many does California have? 70? 60? Right? Texas has got a bunch.
Yeah, we're talking about delegates.
Yeah, Hawaii's only got 1. Alaska's only got one, so they're not going to dispute those. They're going to dispute the high numbers, right? To get them thrown out and reduce that gap. You know?
So what are we talking? We're talking about Florida, Texas,
Ohio,
California,
maybe
Ohio,
Pennsylvania, but it's mainly the red states, I would think.
Yeah.
So,
I guess the question comes down to: do you have enough confidence in a very unpopular Congress, both Senate and House of Representatives?
well, that depends what side you're on. The Dems are.
I don't even know if I have a lot of confidence in, like you just mentioned, the 10 that voted.
Yeah.
That I don't know. Very unpredictable. I wouldn't lay any money down and bet on any of that. I mean, it just
Well, the J6 committee was.
There needs
was
to
a
be
farce.
a clearing, so to speak. A
Clear house?
cleansing and a cleansing and a clearing.
Not an ethnic cleansing. We're not talking about
not
that.
ethnic cleansing.
Political.
We're talking about,
Political cleansing.
yeah, a washout of some of these folks.
Right.
And we have that opportunity to do that in a few months, in November.
Yeah. So that is, however unlikely, that's a scenario that could happen. How they could take it away from Trump if he wins because of that eligibility. All right, folks.
That sounds very probable in the atmosphere that we're in right now,
well,
right?
Possible.
Yeah.
I don't know about how probable, but possible.
Let's hope
definitely.
not probable. Let's hope not.
They whip up their base about hate for Trump. So
Bob
Bob Costas even said that his followers are toxic.
Yeah, yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, he's in the Hillary camp with that. Calling people names and stuff. What's the deal? Yeah. I don't get that. And he's still got a following.
All right, folks. That's all the time we've got left. If you'll notice, in the morning we're kicking out something. This morning we kicked out something about the total solar eclipse, April 8th, and the comet, Ponsbrook comet. That is, we're thinking signs of the times, and we're going to be looking at that up until that eclipse, different facets of what the Savior said in Matthew chapter 24 about his coming.
First part of April, right?
Yes, very interesting.
Yeah. We've
been researching it. Very interesting. Thanks. Subscribe. Tell your family, friends, and enemies.
Have a good day. Thanks.